Hello guys, and welcome to another episode of the Untold Athlete Podcast. This week we're bringing you a conversation with a fighter who's making serious moves in the world of boxing. Known as Chaos, he's become a force to be reckoned with thanks to his non-stop engine and undeniable skill. A multiple title holder and a rising star, he's just added another belt to his collection, and we're excited to bring you his story. So sit back and enjoy the Untold Athlete with Lee Chaos Cutler. Today, we're joined by a fighter who's been making serious moves in the boxing world. He's fast, powerful, and relentless in the ring. The English super welterweight champion and fresh off his victory over Stephen McKenna to claim the WBC International Welterweight title. We're buzzing today to be sat with the one and only Lee Chaos Cutler. Lee, how's it going, mate?
Really good, thank you, mate. How are you?
Yeah, all good, all good. How are you feeling? It's only been, 7-8 days since you were in the ring?
Yeah, really good, really good. Just, it's nice to be back home. I was sort of getting a bit lonely in London where Chris and that wasn't up there. We lived together, me and Chris Smith, and obviously he was back home after his fight, so I was up there alone for the rest of this camp. So, yeah, nice to be back home around the family.
Yeah, nice to get the win and then come home for Christmas.
Indeed, yeah, just before Christmas. I was worried that the fight was going to get pushed back early January, but yeah, glad it was in before Christmas so I can eat some nice food.
Yeah, and you look fresh, mate. You don't look like you've been in a scrap. You look all right.
No, yeah, I normally get a good cut or two, but in my last couple of fights, I got a few bruises, but a week and they're all gone.
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah, so trying to maintain those looks.
Yeah, good. It's a long career. So what's next for you?
For me, we're just waiting to hear from Sky. There's a few possibilities early in the year as well, so hopefully very soon. Can't really say too much about it now until something's signed, but my management's on it, and we'll hope it's very, very soon. And then the plan is to headline in Bournemouth in the summer, so it's just heading towards that direction, hopefully.
Yeah, looking forward to it, mate. So, Lee, we always like to start off with a few questions just to find a little bit more about you. So, your first question, are you an early bird or a night owl?
I don't know. It changes so much. I'm so terrible in my sleep. If I fall out of like my sleep pattern just slightly, it just wrecks it. And then I'm up really early, bed really late, and I don't get much sleep at all. Like at the moment, I'm out of my routine. So I need to be in a good routine to be getting good sleep and stuff. So at the minute, I seem to be both.
Yeah.
But I'm getting no sleep. It's like I'm lucky if I get 5 hours sleep, but I'm hoping when I start eating a little bit better and I get back into that routine, I'll fall back into getting some good sleep.
Yeah, it must be hard, sort of just normal training and then being in camp and that sort of change. It must be difficult to find those routines.
Yeah, that's it. It's when I come home as well, and I'm always out and about, seeing friends and family and out late. And yeah, when I'm in camp, it's just to the gym and home. Gym, home, and it's just yeah, it's easy to be in a routine when you're on your own up in London and not around your friends and family. But
and you've got a gym down here as well, haven't you?
I have, yes, yeah, the Revolution Gym in Ringwood, which is High Rocks Gym. It's smashing it, to be fair, but not that I actually do a lot there, as they all tell me.
Too busy.
But as I'm in London, but the guys that I've got that I own the gym with, they all supported me in my decision to move to London. I said, look, guys, I was there painting the gym when we first opened it and stuff, or when we was first about to open it and that, and then I got the opportunity to move to London and train with the best team. So they all supported me and was like, we're going to stand behind you, mate, and keep pushing. The better you do, the better the gym does. So, yeah, really thankful to have a good team.
Great setup, man. Okay, if you had to give up one forever, would it be coffee or chocolate?
Ooh, I think chocolate now.
Yeah.
Because, like, caffeine, I know you can, like, take caffeine in different ways, but caffeine for me, if I don't, it's like a running joke in the gym. If I don't have a coffee, I'm terrible at boxing. So, like,
That bad?
Yeah, I am that bad, honestly. I can be, and then I have some caffeine and I'm the best. Yeah, I'm the best. I feel great.
The magic pill.
Yeah. Fight week, I come off caffeine because I have little caffeine shots before the fight, just so I'm going in there energetic, so it hits me good. And then just my last few sessions without caffeine, obviously low calories as well, because you're trying to make the weight, are pretty terrible.
Would you rather face a technical genius or an all-out brawler?
Probably an all-out brawler.
Yeah, I thought you might say that.
Yeah, because it's just I like someone that comes to have a fight, you know, like I showed against Stephen McKenna. Like, he looked really good against people that are running away and just trying to get away from him. But yeah, I sort of meet fire with fire, and it's what I like. He's people that are not there to be found. But I like to think I could do it all. I can box as well as have a fight, and I can't wait to sort of show that as well.
Yeah, I think so. I think definitely saw that in the McKenna fight. The move for the knockdown is so nice. When you see it in slow motion.
It's good, yeah.
It's really good in slow motion.
Quite satisfying.
Yeah.
Quite satisfying, because the build up for that fight was good. It was. I tried to come off on my social media, got my mate to run my social medias, because it was mental fight week. Just like a few little faces I pulled in the press conference and saying a few things to him and him saying a few things to me. It just hyped the fight up massively. It was like Betfred fight of the night to watch out for and stuff. And hopefully it lived up to the hype.
Yeah, you got under his skin, definitely.
Yes.
You wound him up a lot.
Yeah. I called him goofy, and
I didn't think you'd get him that easily. I didn't think he'd bite.
Was angry.
Yeah.
My whole team were like, he is fuming. And I think he just hated the fact I was sat there like smiling and laughing and just looked so chilled out. He's one of those guys that thrives off intimidation. He loves being intimidating, and the fact he wasn't intimidating me was just getting to him.
Yeah. Was it all good after?
In the ring, he wasn't. Yeah, in the ring, he wasn't. He was very. Yeah, he didn't know how to take it.
Well, first loss, wasn't it?
Great. Yeah, and then but even if I lost, I'm just like, I go over, shake the hand, and you've just got to accept it at that point. Then I saw him in the medical room. He was obviously devastated. But then he did come up to me as we were leaving the hotel the next day. We were put in the same hotel for some reason. It's the first time that's happened. Bumped into him a few times on his team, but he did come up and shake my hand and stuff, which was nice of him.
Yeah, it's good to see.
But he just said, "Oh, maybe we can get it on in the future." And I've got bigger and better opponents to get out of the way now.
Yeah. Oh, would you rather win every fight by decision, or have a few losses on your record, but all of your wins are knockouts?
Cool. I'd win all the fights by decision if they're entertaining fights. Because I want people to still tune in. I don't want them to be like, oh, all he does is just go to points.
Yeah, perfect record that no one wants to watch.
Yeah, it's all I've been doing recently though. But hopefully I showed a little bit of power in my last one and hurting him badly. But yeah, definitely I would win all the fights, but I have to be entertaining.
Yeah, got to give the fans something to watch.
Exactly.
Ooh, would you rather listen to the same song on repeat forever, or never listen to music ever again?
Cool. That's a hard one. I am one of those, like, if a good song comes out, I will kill that song. Like, so I've got a bit long playlist that I've had forever. Just like every song on that playlist just reminds me of a stage in my life. But like, I add a new song to the playlist, or if there's like a few I've added, I will just like go right to the bottom of it and just play those songs.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same.
And then kill those songs that I don't really want to, then add some more, and then never listen to the ones that are just above. And then sometimes if I'm in a good mood, or I'll just play, you know, where it just, what's it called when you just shuffle, and then these songs come on from years ago, or like through lockdown, and like what my mates were doing, and it just take me back to that time. Which is quite, it's cool.
So you're probably going repeat forever. You could do that.
I think so. Love a bit of 9 to 5, Dolly Parton, you know.
Lovely in the morning.
So yeah, it just gets me up for it. I love a good sing along, you know.
Yeah, love it, man. Big party or small gathering?
Oh, used to be a big party probably, but now a small gathering, just a family gathering. I've got one tonight actually, getting the family together before Christmas, which is good. Got a big old family, so just a little gathering. It doesn't go too wild, but it's just nice to catch up with everyone. It'll be the first time I've seen everyone since the fight as well, so yeah,
that's going to be great, isn't it? Yeah. Near Christmas, everyone's in a good mood.
Everyone's happy. Yeah, a little bit of a secret Santa, which I don't think I'm involved in. I hope I'm not involved in, because I haven't got anyone a gift. So yeah.
So you'll be heading to Castle Point before you. Yeah. Okay, Lee. So we know a bit more about you now. So what we'd like to know is, where did you start out? So where did Lee Cutler come from the early days in boxing and in sport in general, all the way up to today?
In school, I used to love sport, used to love rugby. I was just involved in sort of any sport, mainly because you'd get a little bit of time off school. You know what it was like if you were in the rugby team. They're like, oh, well, we're going to leave it. We're leaving at 2:00 today.
It feels so cool, doesn't it?
And we're like, Yes. Yeah. So I was in any sports team for this reason. But I was always decent at sport. So yeah, I loved it. But my mum would never let me box. She was my oldest brother was a bit of a nightmare. He wasn't a boxer. He went to a few boxing sessions, but he was one of those who was out in town getting drunk and getting in fights, arrested and stuff like that. But he had a family, settled down, but wanted to get me into boxing. He always thought I would be decent at boxing. Took me to a boxing show. My mum would never let me do it, so I used to have to lie to her for about a year. I used to go to school, get on the school bus from Verwood, go all the way to QE. So I'm staying at Dean's, which was my older brother, and I was looking after my niece or whatever at the time. Stay at his, he'd take me boxing, and then I'll get back. And then he was living in Wimborne at the time, and then I would go to school and then get the bus back home.
And how old are you at this point?
I was like 14, and then I had my first fight at 15. So I'd done that for like a year. Because when you first are in boxing, they don't just put you in there for a fight straight away unless you're good. I got carded pretty quick compared to because they seen a little bit of talent in me and seen that I was hungry for it and really wanted it. So I done that for like a year, and then eventually told my mum that I've been boxing all this time. She did hit the roof.
Did she?
But I think she just respected the fact that I really wanted to do it that bad.
Yeah, if you've been hiding it for a year and going to that much effort.
Exactly. I don't know how she didn't like click on, because it was like every Tuesday and Thursday I would do this, because it's only like the 2 sessions. I do my other training at home as well, like a little bit of running and stuff. But every Tuesday and Thursday I would do it, and it was like quite stressful, like at that age, because at that age you want to be at home, like playing your Xbox or whatever, your own home comforts. I was like sleeping on my brother's sofa for that time. Do you know what I mean? And where if I didn't go to my brother's, I'd get a bus to training, and it was good. But I'm glad I'd done that and went through that stage. Yeah,
it's cool to hear that so early on the love was there, and you had to sort of break some barriers to make sure that you could do the sport that you were loving.
Yeah, exactly. But now I think my mum's thankful that I'd done it. Because it definitely made me, I think it definitely made me a better person in every aspect of my life. Just the respect, and probably would have been a bit more of a nightmare if I wasn't boxing. You know, it seemed to just take a lot of energy out of me for school, so I wasn't as bad of a nightmare as I was before boxing.
So when did you first start thinking that boxing might be something that you're going to really take seriously and maybe look at a career in boxing?
It's hard. Like, I think when you're young, you're always like dreaming. I got a funny story actually. I was always one of those that like wanted to be seen for something I'd done. I remember my mate Josh Kay. He got a table tennis table, a ping pong table in his garage, and me and him would play it like every day after school. And we were like, right, it's when the 2008 Olympics were on, and we were like, right, 2012, we're going to the Olympics for ping pong. So we planned this thing that we were going to be playing ping pong every single day, just so we could like say we went to the Olympics, and just so we could be, seen on TV or whatever.
If we put 4 years work in, we're bound to make the table tennis team.
We're going to do it. We're going to do it. We were adamant. We would told our family. I think it lasted a week. And then it was forgotten about. But that's the sort of person I was. Like I wanted to be something. So I always knew I was different in some sort of aspect. And then I think with the boxing, it's just everyone's dream is to... Now I look back, I think, bloody hell, I was delusional. But it's happened now. Do you know what I mean? But
not in table tennis, but...
Not in table tennis.
Next best thing.
It's happened in boxing. But it probably would have been better to be a table tennis player, I would have thought.
Yeah,
more fun.
You don't get punched in the face as much, I don't think.
That's it. It would have been much more fun.
So the table tennis career ended.
Yeah.
And then sort of you're 15, 16 years old around here?
Yeah, about 15, 16. I had my first few fights, won my first few fights, and then thought I was a bit good, you do. Then you have a few losses as an amateur and stuff. And I just kept going. And then the dream was to go professional. I kind of think I was about 21 when I turned professional. And it was... turn pro, it's like a big thing.
Was the step up a big step up from amateur to pro?
No, not at all. Like, I was boxing at a good level as an amateur, and that's what people don't get as well. Like, I was bashing up pros in the gym when I was an amateur. Not very good level pros, mind. And I was like sparring with Chris Eubank when I was an amateur, who was very good sparring. Like, I wasn't bashing him up. I'm not saying I was like, at that stage, I was like 18, but I was getting good rounds with him. And I'm still go back to this day, he still gets me in for sparring now. But yeah, and then just everything sort of just took over in the boxing, and one thing led to another, and I don't know exact moment where I thought. I think I just, like I said, with the whole table tennis thing, I was just delusional to think something was going to happen. I never wanted a normal job.
Yeah.
I had to have a few normal jobs in the process, but I never wanted just the data. I never wanted just that mundane life, the 9 to 5. I just wanted I wanted to be someone, seen as someone anyway. So the boxing just got more and more serious, and we're here now.
Yeah, already having that love for it, and then knowing that you're a driven person that wants to do something sort of unique, something special. It's a good combination to have, to find that love so early, because a lot of people don't find that thing that gets them.
Yeah, exactly.
That table tennis.
Table tennis, yeah. We were close.
Yeah.
After that week, I think, we got a few offers for the GB team, but it never went down.
If only you'd have taken them, mate. If only you'd have taken them. Let's go to the English super welterweight belt.
Yep.
Did you have to win that off of someone, or was it vacant?
It was vacant at the time. I had to go for an eliminator against an undefeated kid, Stanley Stannard. That was at the stadium, the Vitality Stadium, which was that stage of my career. It was massive. Obviously, my mate was headlining for a world title. I was fighting a guy that a lot of people I was the favourite with the bookies, but a lot of people inboxed into where he'd beat me because he'd like achieved a little bit more than me as an amateur. 15,000 fans there, but it was probably about 11, 12 when I was boxing. So there was a lot of people there. Unbelievable weather, great weekend.
Yeah, it was good.
A lot of pressure. It was our biggest sporting event in Bournemouth's history, because in football, I think it only holds like 10,000 or something. So yeah, it was a big weekend, a lot of pressure, but I had to come through that fight, won that fight on points pretty comfortably, I thought. And then December, I had to fight this Kingsley Egbenike for the English super welterweight title, which was a good fight, but it was a fight I was comfortable and sure I was going to win, and got the job done. And yeah.
I've not seen you gassed in the ring too many times. You always look pretty okay.
Yeah.
When you watch your fights back, do you ever look back and think that you were a little bit more stretched than you look?
I'm the fittest in the gym by a long shot. I'm a very, very fit lad, but it's just finding the balance, because sometimes in sparring, I'll go too deep. If I go just too deep, just slightly over, it'll gas myself. But it's just finding that happy medium. And I think on the main stage, I'm so switched on and conscious of that, and know where my limit is. And I sort of stop just before my limit and then push it to the limit again. And then I can recover very quick. But if you go past that, get into the deep heart rate zones, it's hard to recover. But I'm very good at that, like sort of staying around that 80%. So hopefully it's showing in my fights, the work I'm doing in the gym, and just got to keep getting better now, and hopefully get a knockout in the next one.
Yeah, good. We're looking for it. What do you put your fitness down to?
I think it's just years and years of hard work. I was doing a lot of high rocks training. I've got the gym. Doing a lot of high rocks training when I was training down in Bournemouth before I'd moved to London. A mate of mine, Mark Newton, who I've owned the gym with, he was doing my conditioning and strength. So just really, really working hard. I was working overtime really when I was training back at home in Bournemouth to make up for the boxing that I was lacking. And that's no disrespect to ex-coaches or anything like that. It's just I was with my old coach, who was my amateur coach, and he was we didn't have the experience or the knowledge of the pro game. So I would make up for what we were lacking in the fitness department. So I was smashing out the fitness a lot. Now my training's so specific to boxing. I probably don't work half as hard. As in, I work hard in the gym in those sessions, but my body's nowhere near fatigued. Everything's just all about boxing good.
Train smart, not hard.
Everything's just around the boxing, which is very different. But I think my engine's built from those days, and obviously I've still into the high rocks, and I'm an avid trainer, and I love working hard, so it keeps me fit.
Yeah, it's good to know. I need to get down to your gym and do
come down session. And you're more than welcome anytime.
And then last weekend, fight with Stephen McKenna. We touched on it a little bit. So fiery pre-fight. There was a lot of energy in this fight, wasn't there? Yeah,
it was a lot of build up. To be fair, I've had a difficult year this year with injuries and stuff. We got offered the McKenna fight back at Selhurst Park on Chris's undercard when he fought Briakpour. And at the time, we were getting offered a lot less money than I got for the Kingsley fight. There was a few things that just wasn't sitting right with me. There was a bit of trouble behind the scenes and outside of boxing, which was affecting me at the time. So we didn't take the fight. got offered another fight, then got injured. So it was just one thing after another this year, and then started to get back into rhythm, and that the fight come about again, the McKenna fight. So we took it, and he always brings energy to any fight. Yeah, so I knew, like, we got invited into Sky, and I just knew, and they were bringing him on the live stream, and they were like, look, boys, don't swear. At this point, I hadn't seen him in that, and they were just like, look, boys, don't swear and stuff. And I just knew he was going to try and set about me.
Yeah.
So I said a few things that weren't, nothing to do with boxing, but it just set the whole build up of the fight. But it got everyone interested, and it's like boosted my profile massively since.
Yeah.
And he was seen as a really good lad. He had taken everyone out within 6 rounds. He hadn't been past 6 rounds because he had knocked everyone out. So, it's a great win for my career, and having that needle and build up beforehand, it just boosts your profile, because as sad as this is, the YouTube world, how they just mouth each other off all the time. That's what people want to see. Like, that's what the casuals want to see, not the actual boxing fans, but the casuals want to see that little bit of needle, that little bit of build up. So it's just beneficial
it's
for
the
your
game,
career. Yeah, it's part and parcel of boxing, and I'm thankful for him coming at me for that, because I've beat him now, and it's done a lot for my profile, and put my name up there as one of the best in the country at the moment at my weight. So just got to keep building on that, and hopefully become one of the best in the world.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. Yeah, you guys set up a good fight, but it's the game of boxing, isn't it?
Yep.
It's not all nice. You're going to go into a ring and punch each other in the head, and sometimes you say things to each other that aren't the nicest, but I think everyone knows that it is part of the game, and as long as it's, there are certain lines, and I don't think either of you crossed any lines. Yeah,
we were close. We were close to crossing those lines. He said something that triggered me, and I was about to say a lot of swear words, and Andy Scott, the guy from Sky, was like, and I think that'll call it again. I was like, I was so close to just like letting one go at him, and then I was like,
you could see it coming.
Yeah,
it's not his first day.
Yeah, he knew it was coming. It was like getting more and more heated. We were getting louder and louder as we were shouting at each other over this like live stream thing, which was pretty funny if you go back and watch it.
And he got pretty handsy as well at the face-off, didn't he?
Yeah, I was pretty chill about that. I was so calm and that, and he was trying to antagonise me and stuff, but I was just like, you don't intimidate me. You really don't intimidate me. And he thrives off that intimidation and staring at people and trying to give it all the hard man. And I said something about his teeth, of him being goofy, and he bit
yeah, I didn't think you'd get him. I thought you really got under his skin. I didn't think he'd bite as much at all. I
lived in his head rent free that week, I believe, and he was like trying to like grab me and pull me, but I had like this Brew Dart gear that they sponsored me for this fight, and it's really stretchy, so he tried to like grab me and like pull me, but the gear is like so stretchy. It's like, these are the trousers of it, so they tried to like pull me, and it just the like material was so stretchy. And I was just like, what are you doing? Like, you're trying to pull me in that. But like I said, it built the fight, and it was like seen as the Betfred fight of the night to watch out for, and it actually become the Betfred fight of the night.
Yeah, you guys delivered, definitely.
So yeah, normally sometimes they don't live up to the hype, but I think, I haven't watched it back yet, but I think from what everyone's saying, it was a good fight.
Yeah, it was, mate. It was good. It was very entertaining. So, Lee, we know you a little bit more on a personal level now, and we know where you've come from and how your career started and how it built to what it is today. So what we want to know is, throughout your career so far, what has been the biggest challenge that you've faced?
Boxing wise, probably been my first and only defeat so far. It was at Wembley Arena through lockdown. It was really weird. There was no one there. We was in a bubble week. I moved up in weight. It was late notice. We got given the fight against a very good kid, a very, very good kid at the weight above at middleweight, and got beat quite comfortably in the first round. I just got caught with a shot early. It was actually like winning the round up to the point. Like I was in a great space. I was like jabbing, I was landing some good shots, and then he just caught me up against the ropes with a good shot. And me being inexperienced, just ran straight back in there and got caught with more shots. But I still believed I was going to chin him, I was going to knock him out, and got stopped in the first round. And it's been a massive part of my career up to this point now. And I always like telling people about it. And even like on the Sky interviews the weekend afterwards, I mention it. And people are like, why do you keep mentioning that? I'm like, I love to be reminded about it, because I don't ever want to go back there again.
Yeah.
And there were so many things now, like I was there's no excuses because that was how I was at that point. But like my nutrition was like, I would starve myself just to make the weight. I'd go as long as I could through the day without eating. Didn't have any protein, like, because I just thought it was all just like, I was like, I'll be all right. I've never been hurt before, never been hurt in sparring, never been knocked out. I've never been, so like, it wasn't even in like my mind. I was nervous for the fight because it was like my first big fight on Sky. And it was like the be all and end all, like boxing for me was the be all and end all. And I was like, so when it happened, it was the hardest point in my life for a long time. But I'm so thankful it's happened, because if it didn't happen, I wouldn't have got a nutritionist on board. I wouldn't have made the moves I've made, and I probably would have got knocked out in the bigger fights, like at the stadium when it really mattered. Yeah, and then I wouldn't be on Sky now. So I'm a believer of everything does happen for a reason, and that happened for a reason. And now, like, the opponents that I face, like the McKennas, they probably see me as an easy touch because they seen that fight years ago, even though it was 2021, start of 2021. All my opponents look at that and think, oh, well, he is vulnerable. And then I stand in front of them and they realise, okay, maybe he's not, because he's doing it properly now. He's living the life. I live the life now. I haven't drank in nearly 3 years. I'm just, everything's boxing. And it was a hard point in my life. Like I would never commit suicide or anything like that. But because boxing was the be all and end all, it was like, I was so low, I sort of understood why people would. And it was such a hard point. I remember crying for days, like, to myself. And then, like, when I started getting over it, my mates, oh, come out. So we'd go out, and then I'd get reminded about it, like, by people just out drinking. And when I went into bars and stuff, like, oh yeah, shame when you're getting knocked out in the first round. And that's how it felt. Anywhere I went, somebody would try to remind me of it. But that's why, like, now I talk about it all the time, because I don't ever want to go back to that. And it might happen, like, but that's boxing. But I accept the worst possible scenario could have happened the weekend. And I said that to all my family before the fight. I'm just like, anything can happen. This kid's knocked everybody out. Like, I believe I'm going to go in there and beat him up like I did. But I make sure everyone knows the worst possible case scenario can happen. And as long as I'm happy and I'm in a good spot, it doesn't matter. I don't care what anyone thinks anymore. It's I'm doing this for me and like my future family and my family now. So that was a hard point in my life, but I'm so thankful what happened.
Yeah, it's something, obviously I come from a very different sport to you, and we always say the kids that grow up not losing, the ones that are the best in their age group and they don't lose until they're 15, 16 years old, it's not useful. Because then when you lose, it's really tough to take. Yeah, for sure. Like you said about like getting that loss in early and realising the changes you needed to make has made you into the fighter you are today. Yeah, 100%. If you don't lose that fight, like you said, you potentially don't bring on a nutritionist, and that fall comes later in your career when the stage is bigger. It does matter then. Yeah. It really does matter. Like, if I'd lost at the stadium, like, I wouldn't be on the run on Sky now. They would have been like, well, he's lost now. I would have had to have gone back into that building stage and probably wouldn't get back to possibly boxing on Sky like till this year coming or whatever. So I would have missed all those opportunities, you know? So everything does happen for a reason. Obviously, Chris doing really well, which has helped massively because he's brought the Sky Sports shows down to Bournemouth, which has got me on because I'm a big ticket seller down here. So I mean, I'm just a big believer of just everything in life happens for a reason. Yeah. And I'm meant to be at this stage in my life right now and everything's going well. It's back on track, but I love reminding myself of that because I'm proud of myself for coming through it and being here right now. Yeah, I think it's a really healthy attitude towards something that always happens in sport, which is bad things, losses. Yeah. It's always going to happen. It's life. It is life. You can take losses in life of personal, you know, when your sport is literally your everything. And at the time, like, boxing was my be all and end all. And when you get beat so easily and comfortably, you're like, I didn't know how to take it. And it wasn't even till months after I started realising how much I was doing wrong. This is how like delusional it was. But you've got to be delusional to a certain extent in sport. But you've also got to be a realist and understand your own body and the things that went wrong. And now I've corrected those and still striving for that extra 1% so that never happens again. And it's going well, mate, definitely. Yeah, so far so good. Yeah. When you get that loss, it's like you come to a fork in the road, especially when it's the first loss.
Yeah.
And you can go down two paths, and you can really let your head drop, because I've never been beat before. I was invincible.
Yeah.
And now I've been beat.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm not who I thought I was.
Yeah.
Or you go, right, okay, what have I learned?
It's time to get better.
Yeah. What do we do now?
Yeah.
And take that path.
Yeah. I was very, very lucky at a stage in my career. It was lockdown. I had a good sponsor at the time, good friend. My coach at the time was like my best mate. Stuck by me, and we just got straight back to the gym. It was hard to start with. Then we got a fight out in Luxembourg, which was, the opponent was absolutely terrible, but it was another win on the record. And then we just started building from there. And then the following year, the Sky Sports shows come to Bournemouth, and then we were back. We were winning, and it's just led to this point now. Yeah, it's been a long road, but we're here and everything's going well.
Yeah, man. I think it's pretty evident that you're aware of your ability now and your level now.
Yeah.
When you had that loss, how much did you doubt? How much was there, struggling with, okay, is this what I thought it was?
So much doubt. Like, still to this day, like you have those moments of doubt. But I think that's good. For me, it's definitely good. Someone like Chris, he's around me and he knows me better than I know myself. He goes, mate, when do you perform your best? When you doubt yourself. Like because when I'm overthinking the scenarios and the situations, that's when you'll see the best version of me, because I'm overthinking everything. I'm making sure I'm just on point so that doesn't happen. So yeah, that's when the best version of me comes out, when I'm most nervous for these big fights. So yeah, hopefully that just keeps going. I understand that now from the amateur days, when I wasn't nervous for a fight, I'd box terribly. But now I know where I need to be switched on and ready for the big fights.
That level of arousal.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. And that's just comes from understanding yourself and being experienced now, So
you can't do anything just to rush experience. You've just got to go through the process.
That's it, for sure.
So obviously really tough to take that first loss, but used it in a really, really sort of productive way to move forward, and it's gone really well. So you sort of alluded to at the beginning, in boxing, that was your biggest challenge.
Yep.
Outside of boxing, any big challenges?
I think getting through this year has been a really tough one. Off the back of last year, where it was such a good, successful year for me, boxing at the stadium, winning the English title, I thought this year's it. And then it was just one thing after another. A breakup, family issues, was just affecting my mentality and everything in boxing. But I stayed consistent in the gym the whole year. And Chris Smith has just been like my best friend. He's helped me out so much. And he said, mate, this year will be the making of you. Trust me. And he's always right. And he's like, just stick at it, and like it will all come. And now, right at the end of the year, it's finally happened for me. But like through this year, stages, I wanted to quit boxing. Like, I've always been one of those kids that's like, even when I was young, like 18, if we're out on the street and there was like 4 lads there that are like starting, just out of pride, I wanted to have a fight. Like, if they were starting a fight on me, like I was the sort of kid that like, this ain't gonna end well, but I'm like gonna hold face here and have a fight with them. Yeah, that's the sort of word. But at points of this year, with everything else going on around me, I was so scared of having a fight. It was the weirdest thing, like how something can affect your mentality. And it was only for a short period in the year, whether it was like 2 months. I stayed consistent in the gym, but there was nothing more that scared me than having a fight. If anyone in my team like mentioned an opponent, it's too much. I just didn't want to have a fight. I just didn't have it in me. I thought I didn't have it in me. But that just goes to show that just one little thing that's not sitting right on your outside life can just affect everything on your dream that I've had as a kid. Like, so this dream and everything that was going so well, I've moved to London. I'm around like these like celebrities in the boxing world and world champions and stuff, everything I've ever wanted. But my mentality wasn't right, and everything just seemed to be affecting me. And I'm so glad I had friends like Chris Smith that just helped me push me through. I was like, mate, it will all come. Like, everything happens for a reason. And by the end of this year, you're going to be like, this is going to be your biggest building year. And it has. And like, again, I'm so thankful that the whole year's happened, because in my life, I'm going to look back on this year as that's the year that made me. That's the year that made me as a person and as a boxer. So yeah, I like any like young athletes out there that's going through like a little bit mentally and stuff. I definitely think just like stick at it, don't just jump to decisions. Because if I had jumped to retiring at that point, I was thinking like there was nothing worse than having a normal job for me, but I was thinking about having a normal job. Luckily I set up the gym in Ringwood and stuff, so I was like, I could just put a bit of time into that, but I was looking for ways out. I really didn't want to box anymore. But yeah, it's mad to think that was only a few months ago. And now I'm in this position now where possibly Sky are going to be signing me and just come off the biggest win of my career. And I'm ready for anyone, you know, and next year is going to be the biggest year of my life. So yeah, I hope that sort of gives you a bit of an insight on what like mentality can do and
I mean,
keep at it.
One thing you said there was Chris Smith's always right. I don't think you're going to live that down. You said that now. I've
said it a few times. I've done an interview with the BBC. Like they come to my room after the fight, and he is always right. He knows me better than I know myself. Like he's a good mate, and he's helped me out so much this year with a few things. And he just knows me better than I know myself. And he says it before it happens, and he even says in the fight he knows like what happens. He's like, if you find it too easy, you switch off. And I did at times, and he was right again about that. So that's like my biggest problem. And I'm like sparring, and it's like I find it a bit too easy, and I'm just like, all right, just get through it. And he's just like shouting at me, just like, the job's not done until it's done. Yeah. Get him out there. Do you know what I mean? So,
and having those people around.
Yeah, it's good.
Especially people like Chris Smith as well. He knows what this journey's like, and he's probably just seeing you live the journey after him. And having that advice, having someone who's been there and knows what it's like, so useful. And
he's so genuinely happy for me now that I've stuck it out. And he's just like, even like last night, sent me on Instagram like a little quote, which was quite nice of him. Just like saying how proud he is of me for sticking at it, and how much like changed my life now. Do you know what I mean? Because of it. And I'm just not in boxing. This is just outside of boxing as well, how I see things. And it's good.
Yeah, he's a great training partner to have. He does everything the right way, Chris Smith.
He just try to get that extra 1%. Yeah, I try to live my life like him. Not just, like I said, not just in boxing terms, but just how he is, how he treats people, how just he's like my idol, but also one of my best mates.
It's a good position to be in that.
Yeah, you've got to be around people like that. That's what you want. You are a product of your environment, and being around people like him, Josh Pritchard, my coach, Shane McGuigan, and like the boys and girls in the gym, Adam Azim, Caroline Dubois.
It's not bad company, that.
Yeah, it's not bad company. Like I feel like they're rubbing off on me in a good way. Yeah, good. So we just got to keep going.
Yeah, and you say how happy he is for you.
Yeah,
when you got announced in that McKenna fight as a winner.
Did you see what Boxer put up? And he was buzzing, and like
he was the happiest guy in the room.
Yeah, he was because he's been there when we've had deep chats about where I'm just like, mate, I'm thinking about getting my stuff from the flat and just heading home and getting a normal job, or you know.
And obviously, so you talked about that feeling that I didn't want to have a fight, and this is, like you said, your dream. Before that happened to you, so before this really tough year, did you think that within the next 365 days there was something that could happen that could make you not want to fight anymore?
Not at all. After December last year, this is it now. This is it. Like this, I've moved to the best gym. I've got the best management. I've got everything. Everything's going in the right direction. And it just goes to show just one little thing that just offsets you in your outside life can just affect something that I've dreamt about for so long. I would come home at the weekends and people would become like, oh, mate, you are living the life. Like, even my best mates and that, they're like, you're around such and such like all the time. And I'm just like, I just want to say to me, it's not that good. Like at this time, because all this battle's going in my head. Like now I understand, and it is really good. It's much better than being in a 9 to 5. But like at the time I was thinking, it's not what it's all crept out to be. Do you know what I mean? It's, but yeah, just thankful to go through it all and come out the other side. And because it could have gone wrong Saturday. It could have done. But still, the mindset I'm in, I would have been like, well, it was just what's meant to be for me. You know, it's just wasn't the plan in my life. There was something else planned for me. And that's a great mindset. That's why I took a lot of pressure off myself. Whatever happens, happens. Yeah. You know, I'd accepted the worst possible case scenario could have happened. You know,
will be.
Yeah, I'm going to go in there and give it absolutely everything. Yeah. And that's how I'm going to go into every single fight, whether it's somebody that I'm seeing that I'm going to knock out or somebody because there's going to be times I'm a massive underdog again. But I'm always going to go in there and give it 110% and hopefully make my friends and family and support proud.
Yeah. Yeah, always, man, definitely. Yeah, it's that approach of, especially in boxing, I know anything can happen. I know I've got a good opponent in front of me, but I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure this day is my day.
Exactly. But that, like I said, you just also got to just accept whatever does happen, happens, and take that pressure off you. There was a lot of times in fights where I'm just like, I have to win. This time I wasn't thinking about the outcome. I was thinking about the performance, which again, Chris tells me, he goes, stop thinking about how you like that you've got to win. Think about what you've got to do to win.
Yeah.
Don't think about past the fight. Just think about the fight, the things you've got to do in there to get the result. And that, again, don't think too far into the future, just little things like that, which has helped me massively.
Yeah, I've got to win as much as it's a desperate feeling.
Yeah.
It doesn't help in the ring. It doesn't help you throw hands and move your head.
It doesn't. Also, don't help you take shots. Doesn't. Yeah. So you just got to do your utmost to get that victory, whatever it takes.
So going back to obviously that loss that you had, and we talked about the tough year that you had this year with injuries and with some personal issues. If you could go back, would you do anything differently? Although it does sound like you did manage it pretty well mentally and you had a good support system around you, but is there anything you would do differently in those sort of low times?
I don't think I would have done anything differently because, like I say, everything happens for a reason. The only thing I would have done was quit drinking a lot sooner. It's when I talk about that, it sounds like I was some sort of alcoholic, which I definitely wasn't. Like I'd always not drink for like 8 weeks leading up to a fight and that. But I would have taken like alcohol out of this situation, would have just made me much more level-headed, like in general. Yeah, the alcohol, that would be something. But other than that, I wouldn't have done anything differently. And things happened through that stage. It's led me to here, because I've learned from those mistakes. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think, I'd agree with what you've said and how you went about those issues that you had. Like, obviously got to some dark places, got to some tough times, but really did navigate it quite well. And I think it is so important to realise how powerful that attitude is of kind of anything that happens, whatever happens, has happened for a reason, because it's a way to never lose. It's turning defeats into victories. It's using those low points to define who you are as an athlete and make yourself a better version than you were before.
Oh, 100%.
And it's such a skill to have because it's tough to do as well. It's tough to be that headstrong and tell yourself, no, this happened for a reason. I've just got to keep going and get better. Yeah,
100%.
So with regards to the drinking, obviously, like you mentioned, like you didn't have any actual problem with drinking. You just knew it would be better for you if you weren't. Yeah. Was that a tough change or was it pretty good?
I've always been easy. I could just like knock things on the head. Like I could be like drinking loads. Like Christmas would be like a period where I'd have like drink after a fight. Normally box early December, and then I'd have like loads of drinking, like just be out because I don't really work. I'd be drinking too much. Yeah. I went on my mate's stag do wedding out in America. Josh, the guy who had the ping pong table, his wedding was out there. He played football out there. He used to play for Bournemouth and he moved out there to play soccer. We went out there and it was just 10 days of like drinking, having great. It was probably the best holiday I've had. Yeah. Really good. And then after I said, I'm going to do a year of no drinking for my career because I knew like there was talks of like Sky Sports coming to Bournemouth and stuff. I'm just going to give it absolutely everything for this next year, 2 years and just see what happens. And then it got into about 5 weeks of it. I told Chris that I'm not going to do I'm going to do a year. And he goes, mate, why are you doing that? Why don't you just do, he doesn't drink either. He's been like nearly 10 years, I think. He was like, why don't you just do the rest of your career? He goes, you know why? Because you're going to go to events. Like I had my brother's wedding coming up and all that, which is like, I would love to have a drink with my brother on his wedding, his stag do. He was like, why are you just doing a year? Because people are going to talk you into drinking. Because if you say, oh, I'm only here, like, oh, come on, just have a drink with me. It's my wedding or it's my stag do. So I only get to do this once. Come on, have a drink. People talk. So if you say like you've quit drinking, people just leave you alone. They don't care. They're like, okay, fair enough, mate. I would respect that. Yeah. So very, very quickly, a year turned into just doing the rest of my career. But now the rest of my career will probably be the rest of my life, not drinking, like touching alcohol. Because when you're used to not drinking, you can have a good time without drink. When you're used to having, like, you can just have a drink to make yourself feel better, or you need that to get that feeling. But like now I go out, like I was out with my mates last night watching the boxing and stuff, and I was just in such a good mood. Like I don't need alcohol to have a good time, but I think when you're used to having alcohol and you know what it does for you, I think you're always chasing that, but it took a couple of months to get used to that. is only when I like didn't have a fight coming up that I'd be like, I wish I could have a drink now with my friends. But after that, like initial thing, like I'm missing out on my brother's wedding and stuff, drinking, like it's fine. It doesn't even like cross my mind now. It doesn't even like I think, I could have a beer. It doesn't bother me. I know like I've experienced some great things in my life already, and because of not drinking, you know. So I always remind myself of that if I ever do sort of get an urge to have a drink, and I'm like, why do I need to do that?
Yeah,
that's very, very rare that I get an urge, but yeah, definitely the best decision I made.
Yeah, really good change to make for any athlete. But a tough one because alcohol's just everywhere all the time, isn't it?
That's it.
So, Lee, final question for you is, what advice would you give to athletes that are listening, either within boxing or within another sport? What would be your top piece of advice?
I just think be consistent and just give it your everything. So when it's all said and done, your career short and whatever it is, whether it's boxing, gymnastics, when it's all said and done, you can sit there and say, I've given this everything. And that's one thing I said and took the pressure off me last weekend, because I said to all my friends, I've not got one excuse. The only excuse I could have got last weekend was like coming up to the fight as if I got ill for the fight, like before the fight, because you can't predict if you're going to get ill or get like a flu or something like that. I said, I have done absolutely everything in my power. If he beats me tomorrow night, he's the better man. And I can accept that, you know? And I think that's just for any athlete, just give it absolutely anything, because when you're sat in the pub in a few years' time and you get older, do you want to sit there and think, I wish I was better than that such and such that's on the TV now, you know? Because that happens as well in boxing. Like there's when you first start, there's kids that are much better than you or much better than me, and now I'm the one on the TV. But why is that? It's because you didn't have the grit, desire. You caved into women and alcohol, you know, and wanted to go out drinking all the time and partying and little things like that. So just give it absolutely everything. Like my mate's saying is consistency builds success. CBS, Chris. So, and I think that's definitely what I would pass on to the younger generation. Just or anyone coming through as an athlete, just give it your utmost. And if it's good enough, it's good enough. If it's not, it's not. You can at least sit there and be happy with yourself and say, I've given it everything.
Yeah, it is huge. I got into elite sport at about 15, 16, so I knew nothing, proper wet behind the ears. And a lad that I was training with, who was a senior athlete, and he said one day, when I finish, I just want to know that I did everything I could, and whatever level I reached, that was the level I was meant to reach, and that was the top level I could possibly reach. Yeah. And leaving nothing to, like you said, sat on the sofa one day going, I think I could have been better if I'd have put a bit more in here and a bit more in here. And not having those question marks at the end of a career must feel like a
those
really
if,
good
buts
feeling.
And maybes, you know, that must be a horrible place to be sat, you know. And I was very, very close to going down that route. I was so close to go this year, and other times in my life I was so close to, like, with the alcohol and stuff, I would have been sat there in a few years' time. Well, maybe if I knocked the alcohol on the head and I moved to London with the best team in the country, like, could I have been something? At least like now I had no questions. If someone beats me, it's because they're better than me. And I'm happy with that. As much as it's going to hurt at the time, it's I'm happy that I've given it everything, you know?
Yeah, and that attitude as well, dealing with things like the losses or the struggles that you deal with, it's really hard to do, but every time you do it is just proof for the next time that you're in a hard position. I can do this. I've done this before.
I've been there many times before, and I can always come out. There's always light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah,
I'm an athlete that can do that, and I know I can do that, so I'm going to trust myself this time to do it again.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's great advice, mate. And yeah, it sounds like as far as an athlete goes, you've really got your head screwed on and surrounded by some really, really good people in a good position.
Yep.
And we're looking forward to the future, mate.
Next year, it's going to be a big year, so I'm looking forward to it.
Lee Chaos Cutler, 2025.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're ready now for my selfish question. So this is where I get to just ask you anything I want to ask you.
Yeah.
So my selfish question this week is, if you could take 3 attributes, one from each boxer in history, what would you take? So you could take like Ali's footwork, Mayweather's sort of defensive boxing, his evasive work.
Yeah, probably Golovkin's power.
Yeah, nice, good choice.
Lomachenko.
Yeah.
His boxing ability.
Yeah, okay.
/ Floyd Mayweather's brain and boxing ability as well. That would be an unbelievable.
So who do we start with then? We've got Golovkin's power.
Golovkin's power.
Yeah, okay.
Mayweather or Loma's like boxing ability mixed up. And what else? Chin.
Whose chin you having?
Someone like a Carl Froch or even a Golovkin again, or a Canelo Alvarez. He's my idol.
Yeah.
His head movement and that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Canelo. Canelo is. I sort of used to idolise myself a lot off Canelo, and
not a bad choice.
Yeah, he's we've got a similar sort of stature and stuff. So
yeah,
hopefully like people can see like some similarities, you know. So.
Yeah. So Golovkin's power, Golovkin just, and to be fair, his chin as well.
Yeah,
he can get hit, can't he?
Yeah,
and just eyes are straight back on.
Just takes. I don't know how he does, and he just boom.
Lomachenko, one of my favourites ever.
Yeah, that's it. Great,
beautiful boxer to watch.
Great, yeah, unbelievable. I think it was Loma's dad that used to train them both. You know.
Yeah, he wasn't allowed to box for years, was he? He had I can't remember how long it was. It was a long time off boxing, dancing. Yeah.
Yeah, to start with. So.
And his footwork, he just
obviously paid off for him.
He must be horrible to fight because you throw a punch and then all of a sudden he's just
he's gone. He's there. He's hitting you.
Yeah, Lee, today has been great to find out all about your career, to get a little bit more insight in boxing. Last weekend was great to watch.
Thank you.
What a fight, what a performance. I've seen a few of your fights now, and that was the best I've seen you, and you looked sharp. Really sharp, mate. Looking forward to 2025.
I appreciate that.
And we've got a live event coming up. We're going to be doing a talk at the Wimbledon Wellness Centre Recovery Retreat.
Yep.
And we're going to be doing a talk with Lee on stage all about recovery at elite level.
Yep.
So keep an eye out for that. Lee, thank you so much for sitting down with us, mate.
Thank you.
All the best.
It's been a little bit insightful, hopefully, for anyone. And,
really good.
Yeah, onwards and upwards.
Yes, mate. Yes, thank you. Cheers, mate.
Thank you.
And that brings us to the end of today's episode. It's been great hearing from one of the most exciting fighters making waves in the super welterweight division. Lee shared some powerful insights into his journey, along with some great advice for athletes at every level. A massive thank you to Lee for joining us, and of course, thanks to all of you for tuning in. Don't forget to join us next time as we sit down with another world-class athlete to uncover more untold stories from the demanding world of sport. Until then, stay strong and look after yourselves.